Welcome to this reporting station. Today, we will discuss the recent catastrophic sinking of the Lusitania, which happened a few weeks ago, and how 1,198 people died, including 128 U.S. citizens. We will have a description of what happened, an interview with the survivor who recounts his experience on the Lusitania, and how this impacts America. Finally, we will end with a report of the latest happenings of the war in Europe. Brace yourselves for the shocking, horrible story, and without further ado, we will begin. The construction began in 1904. 3 years later, in 1907, the ship sailed for the first time. At the time of completion, it was the largest ship in the world, measuring 787 feet and weighing a staggering 31,550 tons. The following month, it broke the record for the fastest Atlantic crossing. Therefore, it was a popular British ship. Now that you've been provided some information about the Lusitania, let's get to the incident. In May 1915, the Lusitania was returning from New York to Liverpool with 1,959 passengers on board. As a result of sinking merchant ships in the area, the British Admiralty even warned the Lusitania to avoid the area and change courses every few minutes to throw off German U-boats. Unfortunately, the ship's captain ignored the recommendations, and disastrously, on May 7th, 1915, at 2:10 p.m. local time off the southern coast of Ireland, a torpedo struck the liner's starboard bow. As a result of deficiencies in the area, the single blow was enough to sink the ship. Indeed, 18 minutes after it was struck, the mighty ship sank. Many of the 1,200 people who passed away got stuck in the newly installed elevators, which stopped working when the power went away. There were 1,000 people in the water, cries for help, children drowning. Tragically, the British Royal Naval cruiser was dispatched, but just as it was hovering over the few of the survivors, it was recalled, leaving the drowning hundreds waving desperately in despair. Now we will speak with Walter Mitchell, a survivor who recounts his experience. Walter, how did this tragedy occur?
I had just finished lunch, and the torpedo struck just as I was getting into the cabin. Somehow, I was able to get into a lifeboat in the freezing water with my son. I held my baby, but he died soon after the exposure. There were dead bodies floating, people screaming and shouting. Many lifeboats failed to work, including mine, which was barely functioning. I had to cling to boats around me. Eventually, we were rescued, but I still remember the screams. My son's expression.
Were you worried that the ship may be sunk because of the surrounding environment?
I believed I was safe, because this was a civilian liner on a commercial ship. Furthermore, there were Americans on the ship. Why would they destroy us when we did nothing to them? They intentionally murdered thousands of civilians.
What would you say the United States should do for this attack which murdered so many Americans?
What should America do? They should not sit idly by while innocent men, women, and children are slaughtered. The United States cannot stay silent. We must let Germany know that they cannot drown our people and expect nothing in return. We must show the world that such horrible actions will not go unpunished. We should go to war.
So you are voicing, like many others, that the United States of America should indeed enter the war.
Yes, the Germans should pay for killing all these innocent people.
Thank you for joining us, Walter. Now we will give the latest updates on the war in Europe. Notably, the use of poisonous gas is started to be used on the Western Front, which is killing people by blistering their lungs and throat if inhaled in large quantities. The Second Battle of Ypres has begun, and already, in part due to the poisonous gases, there have been many casualties on both sides. There have been many costly offensive and trench warfare, but all of which have been inconclusive. The war is still very much a stalemate in that area. However, on the Eastern Front, German offensives in East Prussia are pushing the Russian army back by hundreds of miles and causing massive casualties for Russia. This is as a result of lack of supplies and poor organization. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next month for more updates.